okay, I'm going to clean that fridge out, because that was going to annoy the shit out of him. I didn't do it. And my dad hadn't touched the fridge, so I'm like, okay, I definitely have to clean the fridge out. I'm like, no, I'm sorry. I'm just sitting there, I'm looking, I'm going, no, there's a couple of things are actually molding. I'm like, no, okay, that's it, 10-foot pole. Well, not a 10-foot pole, but like, I mean, just, you know, get rid of that shit. We don't need that in the fridge. And I cleaned out everything that was relevant to the fridge anyway. And I also had to babysit my niece for a little bit as well. She brought a mouse in, she brought a rabbit in, I ran chased after the bloody dog. I love my niece and I love my nephews, but sometimes they drive me potty. But I don't know. I guess sometimes I do the same thing to my family sometimes. But I'm not so bad. I always keep to myself because I'm more of an online person. I mean, I talk to my family. Don't get me wrong, but I'm more of an online person than I do interact. Like I interact with my family, but it's in different ways. Now I'm still waiting for that SSD to come in. Had that pretty much that babysitting that I did today. Looked after my niece, made sure she was okay. Ran after the bloody dog. Almost fell ass over head trying to do it, but I did eventually get down to him. What I figured out is if I run after him, he just runs faster and further away. So I just went, fuck it, okay. I whistled to him, walked in the opposite direction from where he was going, and walked towards everything, and he came back. So yeah, it was an issue to get him back, and we got him back. I got my niece to go and get the lead. She went and got the lead. He got back on the lead. He was good. I don't know whether he was actually home at the moment because apparently she took him with her. My niece took him with her. Regardless, it's my niece's therapy dog anyway, so yeah, understandable that she takes it with her. But I don't know whether it's home at the moment. I'm pretty sure it could be, but I don't know. It might have gone to sleep with my dad because I ended up this afternoon I was like, fuck it, I need a bit of a snooze because you know I'd been doing all that stuff all day, and I'm like, fuck it, you know, I'm gonna go to sleep for a bit. So I went to sleep for a bit. And I woke up probably at 10:30, and I've been up since then. First glass of wine for the night, to be honest, and that's just the first one that I've had. And you know what? I'm refusing to feel guilty about having a drink if I really want to have a drink. I don't know, a lot of people would always make me feel guilty about that. Anyway, aside from that, that's not the point. The point that I'm trying to make to you at the moment is I've adjusted some of my social media stuff. I've been getting into a lot more PC groups and YouTube groups lately, so that's been a plus side. And I'm, you know, making sure my name's right. Not just that, I'm also correcting a few little details on some things as well. I'm currently waiting at the moment for my my new SSD to arrive. It is in the process of being delivered. My other one is still failing, but it has not abysmally fucking shit itself yet. Fingers fucking crossed that it does not fail. It does not fail before the end of the week, or before I actually get the other SSD, which is supposed to be sometime this week. It's not going to be straight away though, but that's cool. Not a problem. I'm feeling pretty good today, reasonably good anyway. I did sleep pretty well. I did have a pretty good day. Pretty much I was doing a combination of things. I was looking after my niece mostly. I love my niece, but she does drive me potty sometimes. But yeah, that's family for you. They do. Actually, my niece isn't that bad. I probably get along with my niece more than I do along with some other parts of my family. I don't know. It depends on who you talk to. It depends on the different parts of your family. But you know, today I was doing a bunch of stuff. Aside from that, I put up a couple of rig stuff. I was just saying some stuff about my rig and what my rig specs are. Then I did a whole little, I wouldn't call it a rant, I just sort of pointing out the people that women abuse just as much as men, sort of context. I was going for that. And then I did a nice little picture of my niece's mouse, and I did Pinky and the Brain analogy and a reference point on that one. He's cute though. He's really cute, you know, like you just hold him in your hand. He's like just a tiny little thing. No, sorry, it's a she, correct me. It's a she. It's actually a she. It's a tiny little mouse. He's like so cute. I really loved it. Then my niece was in here today with the dog. She was brushing its hair, or trying to brush its hair anyway. And one of my friends like, I love Raylene because Raylene always she's always the person. She always pops controversy into anything. Not controversy, but she's always adamant about things. She's just one of those people. I don't know. I do like people with a nice get up and go with them, a reasonable kick in their attitude. You know, so it's good to have that. You wouldn't be human if you didn't. So that's what I did today. I looked after my niece. I read a couple of things on Facebook. In between doing stuff on Facebook, I checked the mail and I received a new blade handle for my shaver from Shaver the Month Club. I actually ended up signing up to the subscription again because things have been doing pretty well lately, so I'm going to do that. Also have to answer a new client tomorrow, which she found my post on a Facebook group. I have to answer her tomorrow morning, most likely. Yes, I'm going to answer her tomorrow. I won't answer her now because it's a bit late. But she simply said to me, would you be able to get through a password because I've forgotten my Windows password and things like that. I said, not a problem. For something like that, I'm not going to charge a massive fortune because it's not going to be an extremely long job to do it. So I'd say like $40. I might probably just charge $40 to be honest for something like that. It's not going to require a massive amount of effort. So but I mean, on the other side of it, I've still got to make money. So $40 I think is a reasonable amount to charge somebody for something like that. And plus, it's money in my pocket anyway. But also sold something on eBay as well. In between that, I've been doing a couple other things as well. That was a bit of an unexpected expense when I did have to get a new SSD, but it didn't really bother. It didn't bother me that much because of the fact that in the long term, well, I think the main reason it didn't bother me that much, I guess, is because I figured I was going to have to replace it at some point. I had a feeling and an inkling that it was going anyway, but I kept it as long as I possibly could before I'm thinking, okay, alright, so many fucking glitches, Windows 10 glitches, whether it's driver issues or whatever, and the truth is there's so many glitches, and these glitches I would have probably attribute to more being hardware issues than it being any hardware issues than being any software issues in actual fact. So it could have been a distinct possibility that the drive's been failing for a while. It's just been the fact that I've managed to keep it going as long as I have. And that's the type of person. I think any product that you buy, you should try to get the maximum amount of life out of it. And I mean, I don't know. I've always been adamant in keeping products to a point. This is the other thing too I have, which is played on me. I've been adding videos and images to it, and random profile stuff and things like that. It's just a bit of a social media thing for gamers, and I'm like, well, okay, that's pretty cool. Just bugger it. I'll put it all in there, and put a few details, of course, of the different things I do. I had to read some of the details of my rig, but my next planned upgrades at this point in time will most likely be a new video card, and I'm definitely going for a new video card. I don't know what point I'm going to be doing that, but it's going to be at some point. It's going to be nice. Put it this way, I'm going to go for one big video card. I'm going to go for one complete big video card, which is going to be basically most likely a 1080 Ti. That's definitely the model I'm probably going to pick, because I know my board can handle it. I know I'm not going to have an issue with it, and on top of that, it's going to have a ton of memory compared to what I've got. I mean, I've got about 8 gigabytes in total with SLI memory at the moment, but I'd put it this way, it's going to kick a lot. I honestly think it's going to kick a lot more ass in the long run if I do that as a general upgrade rule. So, it all depends on the person. That's the plan anyway. Ultimately, that's the plan. That's what you want to do. That's how you want to do things, and that's the plan of, well, how you want to work it out. But, I think I need a bit of a shave, to be honest. As I said, I ran around the house a bit, did a couple of things, kept myself as busy as possible. The other side of it too is, sometimes I'll do things early in the morning, sometimes I won't. It'll depend on my frame of mind as well. The other thing too is I probably got up about, it wasn't even 6, actually, it's probably about, I think it was a bit after 7 or something like that I ended up waking up. Probably a little bit before 6, I think, because my niece stayed the night, because she got into an argument with my sister about having to stay with the dog, or the dog staying with her, but they can't have a dog stay with them because unfortunately they're in a hotel. That was part of the issue. So she got into an argument, and basically my sister just said, okay, stay here, sleep here. Now, I don't know, apparently she must have been awake a certain degree of the night, I'm guessing, because I was asleep, to be honest. I was fast asleep. She didn't really bother me. By the looks of it, she sat there and watched Netflix for a while. And when I got up in the morning, she came out and she talked to me for a bit, and then she talked to me pretty much the rest of the day. Then she ended up going to school for a little bit, and then she came back from school, and my sister said, "Could you look after her, because I can't get a babysitter till this time?" And I said, "All right, not a problem." Which I've done that I've done that in the past. I've babysitted my nieces and nephews, and it's never been a real big issue, to be honest. I've never had a problem with it. I mean, even if they drive me nuts, they're still still family, so You do what you can for family. Like, even if you don't like what you have to do for your family, you still do it. That's just I don't know. I've always been taught that, and that's always something that has been ingrained in me for my entire life, to be honest. Like, that's something that's been ingrained in me always. Like, it doesn't matter, you know, you may not like a situation, you may not feel like a situation is valid, you may not... You may feel a particular way about some things, but, you know, at the end of it, if it's family, you drop everything and you help your family. That's how I was taught. And that's what I was taught, especially when it comes to your family. When it comes to complete strangers and people you don't necessarily know, and people you just randomly around, at the end of it, I could give a flying fuck less about most of them. Some of them I can. Some people I can actually be caring and understanding about. Some people I can actually sit there and I'll say, I'll care, or I do care what happens to them. Other people, I used to care what happens to them, but they made me not care because of the fact that they didn't seem to give a shit about me anyway. So, you know, whatever. That's beside the point. So I've learned that. I've learned a lot of other lessons in my life too. I've learned when people do things, sometimes it's only to their own benefit, and it's just them that things need to benefit in the long run. And, you know, the other side of it too is I've had plenty of internet sociopaths try to drive wedges between me and my family, and, you know, it kind of pisses me off, to be honest, that people of that nature have tried to do that. And, you know what? Fuck 'em. My family fully supports me. You know, if I'm in a dire situation, whether it's financially or otherwise, they will always be there for me, and they will always be around me. You know, and that's what family is to me. That's what family value offers to me. And the truth is, I wouldn't have it any other fucking way, and I wouldn't have my family. In the same context, if anybody ever came after my family, I don't have an issue snapping their fucking neck, to be honest. Especially if they turn my family. That's when you actually seriously fuck with the wrong person. So this is some of the smoking stuff. This is some of the other stuff that's got in there. And then, of course, you got this, which is my SSD. It's currently in delivery. It's in the process. It's got a tracking number, obviously. There we go, yeah. The shipping information has been added. I obviously will be writing a review on this product, the MX300 series drive. I don't know what I'm going to get, because according to this, and this is what I've randomly picked out the drive myself, which was it as a 525GB to a 500GB. So I could get either one. I could get a 500GB or a 525GB. Now we'll see what happens and see which one I get. I'm happy with either. I don't care, as long as it has roughly, which the capacity I've got currently on my current drive is, let's see. My current drive is, as you can see, 465GB. So as long as I have the same capacity, at the moment I've got 126GB of it free. So I've used up, let's see, roughly I've used up around, so I've used up 338GB of space. Now, this is my point. I don't know, and I speak from personal experience of people who've got small SSD drives. I was one of those people who could never have a small SSD drive because it was just a lot of pain in the ass shit to do, especially if you want to reconfigure gaming folders and certain things that run directly off the main drive. And that was some of my issue I found. Like, I sat there and people were like, oh, no, you'll be fine with 128GB or 256GB. No. Because of the amount of stuff that I do in the rendering work I do, especially with my videos and even my streaming for that matter, the amount of work in the rendering and things that I have to do, it has to be directly off the main drive because it just works so much better off an SSD in general, like speed-wise and just transfers-wise. And I'm yet to understand some people's attitude towards that, like, that, you know, you can get away with this drive and get... Yes, actually, that's true. You can get away with that type of drive. I know, because I've done it on my dad's computer. I just have to regularly be adamant about cleaning it out. Is that my dad has a 128GB SSD drive on his computer. Now, that drive works perfect on his computer. His computer is a Phenom 2 3.4GHz. It's a pretty good processor by any means. I mean, it's not old. It's not new, and it's not massively old either. The other side of it too is generally the architecture hasn't changed dramatically. I mean, except for the recent architecture, which is of course the Ryzen architecture from AMD. The architecture didn't change dramatically over the years with AMD, and you know most of it were just little improvements and add-ons and you know other stuff. I mean, when Bulldozer came out, it was a bit more like I'd have to say it was a lot more of an improvement. I did notice because I did have a few different processors. I had the 8650, I think it was. Yeah, I had the 8650 for a while, and that was not actually a bad. Like, generally, I don't know. I found the Bulldozer, some of the Bulldozer processors not to be too bad. Phenoms weren't too bad. I had a few of the different Phenoms processors. I had a few of the quad-core processors from upwards for the quad-core processors. I had back to the Athlon 2s when the AM2 socket was out, and then I sort of moved from, as I said, I think then going back a bit further, I never had the really, really early AMDs. Actually, no, that's not entirely true. I had an AMD XP K6, I think it was a K6 processor, back in my old Windows 98 desktop, which was actually not that bad, and it did work most of the time. It was just the fact that the operating system was a piece of shit. But that's pretty much Windows 98 for you when you generally think about it, and that was the first edition, of course. First edition always got a bad rap because it never had any extra internet added ons and things of that nature anyway, so, and as I said, from a personal preference point, I just found them to be, well, I don't know. Earlier processors of AMD, some of them were okay, some of them just, not exactly my cup of tea. But the other side of it too is I've had a couple of different processors over the years. I had an Intel, because I bought a couple of different desktops, and I did buy generally most of the time, desktops you buy from, say, for example, Harvey Norman or something like that. I had an Intel Pentium 3 1 gigahertz, which worked okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't the greatest computer, but it wasn't the worst computer either. I had a Windows XP on it, I think. Then in between that, I had a couple of compacts, and I've had all different types. I probably mostly have compacts and HPs early on when I started initially doing computer stuff, and then I worked out that it was just generally better buying my own computer, and that was the simplest thing you could do. In the long run, it was the simplest thing you could do. Not just that, but it was not just the simplest, but it was you know the quality of the components you're getting. You know how well they work, and put it this way, just generally you know what you're getting in quality. And if you're building it yourself, I mean, you make a mistake, obviously it's your fault, but the other side of it too is I've learned from a few mistakes. I've made mistakes building my computers in the past, and you know what? I've learned so much from making those mistakes in the first place. I've learned so much about myself and about computers in general, like how they run, how they work best, how they, what works for them, what doesn't, what you shouldn't do with a computer. You should certain components, are more sensitive to static electricity than others. There's a lot of different things that I will be honest, a lot of it it's generally the knowledge that you gain from experience. And I don't think anything can buy practical experience of building a machine, fucking it up, then having to fix the problem. Like, I'll be honest, I honestly feel like there's nothing there's nothing that beats that experience. Like I said, it's not every single computer. I mean, I don't know. Some computers, it's really easy to get, stuff things up in them. But then I've seen some people that it surprised me that they still did some damage like they did. And then I've seen some stupid shit like I did when I used to go into charity and stuff, where people have actually got a piece of RAM, and there was no slot physically where that, they forced it in till they made a slot in the RAM, and they short-circuited the motherboard. Now, I'm sorry, but even on my worst drunk day, or my worst day that I'm having a bit of a shit day and I'm feeling like crap, and I'm, there might be occasional stupid things that I do, I am not dumb enough to actually stick a fucking piece of RAM into a socket and short-circuit the motherfucker, short-circuit look, I'm not stupid enough to do that, alright? And my point is, I'm not stupid enough fucking to stick a fucking piece of RAM in, force a slot into it, then short-circuit an entire fucking motherboard and system. You short-circuit the power supply, the motherboard, everything else, because it's all interconnected. Once you short-circuit something, once you fuck it in the ass, it's fucked. And especially if you fry it. If you fucking fry it, it will die. It will die, people. But yeah, that's just something I get pissed off with, because I've seen people do stupid shit like that. I've also seen people in OT, some people who claim they're in OT, to get a connector for your hard drive and force it in the wrong way. Now, the only bad experience I've had with a hard drive connector, and especially even SATA connectors or anything of that nature, the only experience I've had, and bad experiences, mind you, is that, say you pull, for example, you put a connector out from your SATA or your data connectors, and the actual plastic bit comes off. The plastic bit comes off completely. Not just that, I've had the complete assembly, the plastic bit on the back of a drive. I'll actually show you what I mean. Complete plastic. See, it's hard for some people to understand, hard, especially if you're not IT person in general. But See this plastic bit right at the back there? That has completely come off, and I've had to reinsert it back onto the pins. That is rather frustrating when it happens, but it happens from time to time. Things like that and faults like that do develop on some drives that as they get older. It's the simple truth. It's always actually it's the honest truth when it comes to IT. Stupid little things like that, because certain things are made of plastic, do wear thin or wear out, you know. And the honest truth and the conclusion I guess I've come to in the long run is, you know, how many terabytes do I actually have? I'm sorry, so let me just give me an actual question. Working it out. I mean, in total, I probably have. I mean, I'll probably add them all up, to be honest. Let's see. In my entirety of everything that I have on there. 3, 6. Well, I mean, we'll just round it, because, you know, I mean, in IT, most of the time it doesn't end up being 3 terabyte, but we'll say 3, so 336, plus another 3, 7, 8, 9, and then plus the 4, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, probably almost 14, 15 gig almost, I mean, I'm not being overly accurate with that, but that's just a rough estimation. Sorry, 14 gig. 14, 15 terabyte. A rough guess. At a rough guess, altogether, yeah, 14, 15 terabyte. Maybe a bit more. That's funny though. Like I don't know. This is a friend, Adam. He's quite cool. Where's it? I forgot where he's from. No, he's from a country area. So, but he's a pretty cool guy actually. He's always been pretty cool to me. Every time I talk to him on the groups and stuff, and he's on PC. He's on PC Enthusiasts himself. So you know. What the hell? Is that the dog? I'm trying to figure out if that's a freaking dog or not, because I just heard the dog. I think I heard the dog rapping on my dad's door. I don't know whether the dog went in with my dad or not, because I was fast asleep earlier, and normally if the dog's in a mood, he'll stay up with me most of the night. But yeah, anyway, beside the point. Okay, so what I was trying to say anyway, or the point I was trying to make was, as I said, there's all different types of stuff these days, and so much of the technology. Well, I don't know. Especially like frustrating issues of something breaking, especially when it comes to IT stuff. I've had so much stuff break just on a whim, you know, simply because it was a piece of plastic. One piece of plastic broke off. Now the other side of it too is, you can get situations where it's repairable. It's either repairable through applying a little bit of, well, not necessarily glue, but some type of adhesive. I wouldn't say glue, because glue is never a good thing when it comes to IT repair in general. So, you know, that's something I find anyway. Sorry, I just thought that was a good answer. I thought it was a smart ass answer. That was a good one. Some of my shit is crazy though. I probably went for, I don't know, maybe when I was buying a lot of the stuff I bought, it was overkill, but at the time, I was making a certain amount of money, you know, and things were, I mean, okay, things are still not too bad, because I can still afford to replace most of the components in the computer, you know, barring a big cascade failure, to be honest, in most cases, so, you know, it's not a big issue. But, I don't know, as I said, sometimes, see, the other thing, too, is I'm a kind person. I understand people's plight sometimes when it comes to budgetary constraints and like not having enough money for something or not having enough money to do something. And I get that with, like, you know, and that's the reason sometimes I guess I'm charitable when it comes to, say, for example, well, yeah, no, that's the honest truth. That's the reason that I'm charitable when it comes to some of my repairs. Like some of my repairs, I don't end up charging what you would classify as a full amount for it. Sometimes I'm just in the right mood. Sometimes you catch me in the right mood. Not just that, but sometimes I do it because I think it's good to be kind to your fellow man. You know, that's some degree of where my knowledge goes. But the other side of this too is I get that back tenfold in good karma too, in the sense that by being good to people either on price or something else that I want to be good to them on, that they in turn are good back to me. So I get that karma back. You know. I get that coming back for being good to people. I mean, there's other times like, I don't know, there's certain people I think just don't deserve any good karma at all. So that's the reason that I sort of disconnect ties with them for a while. But, you know, the other side of it too is, I guess each to their own, you know, but the conclusion, as I said, well, okay, the point I was trying to make about some of these IT repairs is, when it comes to some stuff breaking, it's easy, some of it's easy to fix, some of it's not. Some of it can be a simple 2-second fix and it doesn't require a lot of effort. Some things can take you hours and hours to diagnose, you know. But the other thing too is sometimes I simply don't charge people for every single hour. Sometimes, in certain situations, if I'm in the right mood and I just want to diagnose the problem because it's a learning experience to me and a learning curve, then fuck, you know, I'll do that, which is the main thing. But, I mean, each to their own. Everybody has their own little preferences in life, of course. You know, and that's something I've concluded myself, you know. I'm far from perfect, but, I don't know, the world's far from perfect either. You know, it depends. I guess you could say I have the right attitude in the right parts of my life, you know, whether it's family or whether it's other things that have happened in my life. I've learned so much from good people, and I've learned so much from mean people, nasty people who just clearly have issues themselves, you know. And I think everybody's different, and you know, you learn so much from dealing with these different types of people that it teaches you life lessons. It doesn't just teach you life lessons, but it teaches you the best way to deal with things. And you know what? Sometimes the other thing is too, as a personal preference of somebody who's crazy to start with, sometimes the best way to deal with something is just go completely fucking nuts, because nobody expects that, you know. You can sit there 1 minute, you're just completely fucking on the level, and then you just fucking go completely off your nut. And people don't expect that, because they don't necessarily expect you to react that way in certain circumstances. Now, I don't do that on every situation in my life. Business is business, because I'm always professional about my business stuff. When it comes to my personal life, yeah, I've have some situations where I've gone off my fucking nut. Actually, with some business stuff, I haven't gone off my nut. I've just been more of an asshole towards them. Like I've backed up, I have, you know, whether I have backed up receipts or records or anything like that, and I've gone back and I've showed them exactly what the problem, the fault was with the item in question, and I've pointed it out to them, and I've said, okay, look, this happened, it shouldn't have happened within this time period, this is the original warranty on the item, and I've given them all these records and all this shit back, you know. Actually, that reminds me, I haven't heard from Malwarebytes. To be honest, and I'm kind of annoyed with those bastards as well, because they didn't actually respond to me about the issue of me having a vanishing icon. Now, I don't think it's related to my drive issues at the moment, because those drive issues only just started to crop up, but as I said, they had been around for a while. But I do know that the icon for Malwarebytes has not been consistently there. It hasn't been there for a long time, to be honest. And I know on my dad's computer, it shows up just fine. So at the end of it, I don't know what's going on at this point. So yeah, with that anyway. You know, people have always. I mean, I've been criticised of being crazy. I've been criticised of lots of things in my life. And you know what is the conclusion is, I do what works best for me. I do what makes my life not just easier, but also makes my life better in general. If me having as much information and accumulated stuff that I have, you know, whether it's hard drives or whatever, makes my life easier and makes my life more functional, then I don't have an issue with that. I can tell the machine's lagging at the moment, so I'm pretty sure that it's going to be fixed when against this new SSD. Anyway. Oh yeah, I love Grammarly, by the way. I do love it actually. It's a fantastic program. I mean, it does corrections on some things, but. I mean, if I want to give it a justifiable reason why I have so much storage space, that's a perfectly justifiable reason. Because some of my videos can be that long, and that's the truth. And most of my stuff I archive. This is my point. Not just that, I archive other stuff as well. So it's not just other. I archive my daily chats, my chat logs, and my support logs. I archive what machines I've repaired, and I take photos, and I take things like that. So this is my point. I don't just archive one thing, dude. Like, I keep a record of everything. Just in case anybody tries to sue my ass, and I can just hand those fucking records over to some, you know, to court or whatever, or combination of them, you know? Because if anybody tries to do that, or anybody tries to come after me in that sense, I'm covered, you know? Also, the other side of it too is if I need to report someone, or anything of that nature, I can keep a record of that as well, you know, in case there's an issue where, say for example, I feel somebody may be violent, or I feel there's a situation where somebody may be warranted to be a dangerous society. I don't have a problem putting in a report on them, and I have proof. Because the problem is, nobody believes they're schizophrenic, because everybody thinks that whether you're schizophrenic or you have any mental illness, people automatically don't believe you, and the reason they don't believe you is because of the fact that you have a mental illness to start with. So I put it as a stopgap, because then I can prove that I'm not the crazy one, but the person I'm talking to is the crazy one, you know? It's a catch-22 thing, but I think most people would get where I'm coming from with that. This is the smart thing. I'm going to change it around a bit to do these days. Yeah, there we go. lag. Cunt. There we go. But yeah, no, that's something I find from a personal preference point. I will be honest, as I said, I keep, see, this is my point. People think just because you rattle on the internet that you're bullshitting them. And I have been accused of rattling on about shit. But you know what? None of the crap that I've ever talked about has not been true. Well, this is entirely my point. It's all honest truth and it's all honest facts. I keep records on everything. I'd be an idiot not to. Alright? I'm sorry. I would be a complete idiot if I didn't keep records of things. Because the truth is, so many people have tried to fucking make me look like the bad guy in the past that I've just gone, fuck it. You want to play that game? Fine. I'll play that game with you. I'll not just play that game with you. I'll be fucking way better at it. You know what I mean? And that's the thing that I guess has got me sometimes, you know, like how people react or how they take things, you know, like when you publicly shame someone and point out that something happened or didn't happen, you know, the honest truth of the situation is that they get so, not just embarrassed, it's not just the fact that they get embarrassed, it's the fact that they get so fucking quiet and so fucking adamantly down, right? Honestly, you know, that, you know, they honestly end up, at the end of it, they end up fucking, well, they end up turning into little cowards, it's the truth. Or they deny it, that's the other thing they do. But I've never denied, I'll be honest, I've never denied any of the things I've done online. I've sent my share of dick pics, I've done my share of, you know, my own Pornhub and stuff, and you know what? I ain't ashamed of that shit. I never will be ashamed of that shit. And anybody who's ashamed of that shit clearly has their own prudish issues when it comes to their own expression of their sexuality or otherwise. And if that's well, you know what? That's your problem, not mine. So, yeah. Anyway. So aside from that, oh my gosh. Though, but I mean, as I said, it pays to keep records, especially these days. I always say this, like, well, not this, just I've had different people on my list over the years, and I've seen a lot of women endure and talk to a lot of women, and most of the time I get friend zoned because of it, you know, because I like to listen to their problems, and I like to actually, you know, express my opinion towards. Well, not just that, I like to listen to their problems. I've heard so much of this in the sense that, you know, whether somebody's being abused, whether it's physically, emotionally, I mean, I don't know, it's different for different people. Some women turn really nasty when they've been abused by one or two, like, or probably a certain percentage of men in their life, and it tends to turn them nasty towards every male in their life, and it doesn't matter, it honestly doesn't matter how much you, it honestly doesn't matter how much you try to paint men in a good light, they'll turn around and always find a negative for every man in their life. Doesn't matter whether there's even women who are chastise their own father. I've never had the issue with having issues, well, I've never had the issue with my father being an issue. I've never had an issue with my mum being the issue either. So, speaking from somebody who's never really been abused directly by a parent or any type of, you know, or family or anything like that, because that's my point. I've never been abused in my family. My family just doesn't do that. We don't do that, you know. Well, we get the shits, we might argue from time to time, but that's about it. We don't, aside from arguing, it, you know, it's just normal arguments, like yelling matches every 5 minutes. I mean, that's the thing. I scream at people on the internet, but, you know, like when I've got angry, and people can see when I get angry. But I'm getting angry at those people because there's a legitimate reason that those people need to be gotten angry at. Firstly, they need to be taught a lesson. Firstly, they need to learn that you can't do that to somebody because of how much it does hurt them emotionally. And how much, not just the fact that it hurts them emotionally, but it can fuck with a person's psychological makeup, and it can scar them psychologically in the long run. And that's proof of point, or proof of context, you know. That's something I've learned. Now, trolling, on the other hand, I don't know, trolling is totally different. It's just type words half the time, you know. Half the time that is. Now, the reason that I went off on that other guy, the other guy that I was talking about before a day or so ago, is because I had legitimate reason to go off him. Firstly, he was stalking me in different groups, or, you know, stalking me across that group in particular. And, I don't know, at the end of it, I was kind of fucking pissed with him. I mean, at the end of it, I've still got his profile bookmarked, and I'm considering doing something about it. At this point in time, I don't have a problem when people really piss me off. I don't mind going after them tooth and nail. Am I the type who stalks people? No, I wouldn't classify it as stalking. I'd classify it as reporting people to the right, either right authorities or something of that nature. Now, troll groups, I get it. You troll people, you have a troll, you're in a troll group, you don't report people in a troll group. I get that. You know, that's just logical with a troll group, because a troll group is a troll group. It's meant to be there to kick you into gear. But when some poncy fucking dickhead decides that, in his infinite wisdom, that he's going to come after me, I get it. Accuse me of shit, accuse me of something that, firstly, I'm quite sensitive about. That's the first part of it. Not just the fact that I'm sensitive about it, but then he called me a bunch of other names which hit some fucking nerves, to be honest, because of the amount of shit that I've had to... Okay, firstly, it's the amount of shit that my mum's had to endure. My mum has been, you know, my mum had bad situations in her life, not just that. I mean, it's a negative fact. You know, pedophilia in general is a negative impact on people in general, you know? And it's a trigger for me, I will be honest. You start fucking mucking around with me, even in real life, I might even consider pulling a knife on you if you start fucking with me about pedophilia. I'll be honest. My own family doesn't even touch that subject. My own family never touches that subject. That's my point. But I will be honest, if people start to touch that subject in real life, I don't have a problem pulling a knife on you. And if you don't like that, then don't fucking talk about it. But if it's just random subjects, just being stupid, just being funny, that's cool. You know, I'm a cool guy. I'm a cool guy. I'm a reasonable guy. But I will be honest. There are some subjects that you're just going to get me... it's going to get me right fucking up your ass, to be honest. That's the truth. Because the amount of... Well, not just that. The amount of people that I've talked to, the amount of people that I've listened to, even I know who in real life who have had cases of sexual abuse, rape and otherwise, and all those things of that nature, the amount of shit that I've had to listen to with people going through that, I would never wish that upon any motherfucker at all, male or female. And, you know, at the end of it, I would never want to wish upon... No, I just wouldn't want to wish that upon them. I never would. It's a sick, disgusting act, and it doesn't deserve any gratification, or it doesn't deserve any notification, even if it's in an insulting way, or you're trying to insult somebody, alright? At the end of it, I'm sorry, that's a bridge too fucking far for me, and, you know, I will not walk away from that. No, nothing like that. I will not walk away from it. You just inherently, if you hit that subject, you're going to get a violent reaction out of me. I'm sorry, it's simple as that. And you know what? I believe that the rest of society totally agrees with me on that pattern of behaviour. They have the exact same arguments. They have the exact same lines of thought. I've had people and I've known people, let's just say characters that I would, you know, say that they've had what I would classify as well, yeah, I guess you could classify them as criminals, technically. Like, not fully criminals, but they've had experience with that type of stuff, and they've seen firsthand what shit can happen, you know? And that, to me, as I said, it's a sickening fact, and it's just, I don't know, to me, it's just... It's something it's a subject I could keep on repeating and going on about and fucking telling you the fucking ins and outs of the assholic shitty behaviour that some fucking males have towards women and children. And it's a personal, I guess you could say it's a personal vendetta for me. But yeah, I digress. That's not what I wanted to get into tonight. That's not the subject that I wanted to go with. That's not the thing that I want to step on. That's not the thing that I wanted to step on. I just wanted to point out what I'm seeing, the things that I see on the internet, and the shit that I see that goes on, you know, and honestly, yeah. I've been accused of different things in my life. I've been accused of being an alcoholic. I've never really been accused of being abusive, but I've been accused of being an alcoholic. A person who drinks a lot of alcohol. Well, actually, no. I've been accused of a person sorry. I've been accused of being an alcoholic who's out of control, which that's not entirely true. I don't have control issues with my alcohol. I don't have a problem with drinking alcohol. To be honest, it just depends on who I'm around. The other side of it too is there are some people, more often than not, that stress me out, and my family, I don't know, they've always taught me to use my alcohol as a coping mechanism. It's always how it's been in my family. Probably not the best coping mechanism, but, you know, that's just how we dealt with things. Not every single time, but sometimes it was the easiest option. The other side of it too is, you know, everybody reacts differently to alcohol. I know with me, I have a certain amount, I'm fine. The other side of it too is I have a certain amount. I mean, the other side of it too is I found most of the time it comes down to people provoking reactions. Or from personal experience, that's what I found. Here's the thing, like, if somebody doesn't want to talk about a subject or wants to avoid certain subjects, especially those nasty subjects like that, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with stepping away from those subjects. And when people continue onwards with that shit, that's sort of when, you know, people get triggered and they get set off to a certain extent. I'm not a person who I would say gets triggered all the time. I only get triggered at certain times, but I know that I do, and I know that there's some people that sort of gauge or sort of give that reaction, or they get that reaction from me. Now, I've tried to avoid some of those people, truthfully, but the other side of it too is, for a little while I was, let's just say I was sympathetic to someone because I thought his perspective sounded reasonably okay at the time when I was listening to it. Because it sounded like he was just having a bad situation like I was with scam artists and everything else. Now, at the end of it, I finally just figured out that he's just a narcissistic asshole who doesn't care about anybody else but himself. That he honestly could care less about anybody in the long run. And the other side of it too is, like, it was just fun to fuck with him because sometimes you get these nasty ass reactions. And the truth is, he's threatened to kill me, I threatened to kill him. We've gone between doing this so many fucking times. Between me and him. This is just between me and him. And I knew that he wasn't going to do anything. I know he doesn't have enough balls to do it. That's my point. So I've always known him, and I've known him long enough to say that. You know what I mean? And I'm like, fuck, dude. You know, I don't know. The other day he's just like made this accusation. No, accusation. Like, made this fucking thing. It's like, oh, I'm gonna send you a bomb in the mail, and I'm like, yeah, okay. And like, I don't know. I reckon the guy's probably been tagged about 100 million times by law enforcement. I have no doubt of that, actually. He probably has been without an amount of bullshit that he talks online, to be honest. I mean, at the end of it, I doubt he has the intelligence to build any type of explosive device. In most cases, if he did try to build an explosive device, he would blow his motherfucking self up, to be honest. That's my personal feelings on it. I know some of this stuff myself, and to be honest, I don't feel like sending every motherfucker a bomb. I don't feel like stabbing every motherfucker on the planet. It's only some people. And he's probably one of those people that provokes that reaction out of me, to be honest. Yeah? And, I don't know. I try my best. I try my fucking best to be a good human being, to be a kind, compassionate, understanding individual, you know? And I try so fucking hard to not get pissed off with people. But it is very hard, especially when people fucking, you know... Especially when fucking people get you so fucking angry, you're ready to punch your fucking fist through their chest, you know what I mean? That shit pisses me off, as I said. As I said, it's not everybody who provokes that reaction. And, you know, my own family has never provoked that reaction. I've got pissed off with my family sometimes, but most of the time I just end up, you know, sleeping it off or something, you know? But for people, or random people that I've come across like that, you know, as I said, those are just the type of motherfuckers that deserve to get their fucking head split open with a fucking axe. I'm not saying it's all people that I think are that way, and I don't think everybody should have that reaction, but I think there's some people who deserve it. The other side of it too is, for a while, I was a very, not submissive, but I was a very, not very domineering person. I would say that I wouldn't be extremely domineering, but I wouldn't be... For example... I wouldn't be... It just varies with me, and it varies on my mood, you know, and how I'm feeling. I mean... At the end of it, I think fucking with people is good sometimes, because sometimes those people get taught a lesson. They get taught not to screw with people. That's one part of it. You know, the other side of it too is, they get taught a lesson of why people feel the way they do, you know? That's the other side of it as well. Each to their own, I guess. So, I don't know, I just, like I said, I guess in the long run I've concluded my own answers, I've come to my own conclusions, and I've just gone, fuck it, you know? Some people just, yeah, whatever. I guess some people are just fuck. There's the other thing too. There's some people are just what I classify as mentally retarded, like not just mentally retarded. They're just fucked in the head generally. So trying to talk to them or explain anything to them or trying to get an intelligent point across to them is just the most stupid thing you can try and do. I don't know. As I said, personal preference point, I guess. Generally, so try it. I think we're all entitled to opinions, but I think some people's opinions are just fucking retarded. Not just retarded, but they're fucking... Those people don't deserve opinions because they have no right to give them in the first place. So, yeah. See, the other side of it too is I have had negative experiences, you know, like... At the end of it, I've had negative experiences in the past about people talking about, say, specific things like, you know... I don't know, with me personally some things hit home, you know, whether it's things about somebody's genetic heritage, whether it's down to somebody specifically saying something about how a person reacts to something. The other thing is to, you know, sometimes it can be just down to how people feel. But I found from a personal point of view that everybody's different. I mean, we all inherently pick a lot of this stuff up, and I mean, I've concluded, I guess, with different people that, you know, look, some things just offend me. I'll be honest, they completely offend me, and I can scroll past some shit. I can just scroll past it and say fuck it, no, I'm not going to do anything about it. And then some shit I don't have an issue laying into people either. You know, I'll be honest. And I don't know. There's some things I can just walk away from. The other side of it too. It all depends on whether I've had anything to calm me down in the first place. You know. The other side of it too is a percentage of my life I've been on some type of numbing medication for my emotions. So you know what? If I get a little cranky and a little fucking annoyed, I think I'm entitled to it, to be honest. You know? And I think sometimes people misjudge that as abusive. Because, you know, you got the shits about something or you have an opinion about something. I think that's just fucking stupid. Like, I'm sorry, but that's not abusive behaviour. I'm sorry, in context, that's just not abusive behaviour in my mind. What is abusive behaviour? Is having sex with your child and fucking justifying it in your own mind. That shit is fucked. Secondly, abusing and fucking beating your family up on a daily basis. Yelling at your family every single fucking day, never stopping. And I mean yelling constantly. I mean getting so angry that you smash the table, you smash things in half, you break things around your fucking house, and you get so fucking adamantly cranky that you ruin everything for everybody else in your entire family. That shit is fucked. Alright. And I bet you there's some people, and I'm not saying all people, but some, in these groups, and some of these Facebook groups, that have done that. And you know what? I bet you they feel fucking guilty about it. And because they see me getting along so well with my family and along so well with everybody I know, they can't stand it. They can't fucking stand it. They feel the need to fucking cause drama in my life because they fucking, you know, they have nothing better to do simply because, you know. And I don't know, it's not every situation that I come across that happens. It's not every single person that I come across that is that way. So, you know, some people. I don't know, as I said, some people get up my ass about things, you know. If you're gonna get up my ass, I have every right to fucking kick your ass. So. But I don't know, that's just a personal feeling and a personal vendetta point, I'll be honest. But, you know. I'm also with the consensus that everybody handles things in their own way. Everybody has their own way of handling stuff in their life, and everybody has their own way of looking at things. I can say that most of the ways that I've handled things in my life has been pretty good. I've actually done pretty well for myself. I tend to be pretty calm most of the time, pretty collective, you know. And I've managed to remain calm all this, well, at least my entire life, because, you know, I can sit there and say, okay, fuck, you know, shit happens, unfortunately. But I've concluded, I guess, with some people that, you know, they don't want to be that way. Ooh, okay, somebody... That's good to know. Okay. That's good. I'm coming to one of these Facebook groups. I love these Facebook groups. Some of these are really gnarly. I'm finding some Facebook groups you can get subscribers and stuff, not just that, but I'm assuming that between subscribers and other things you can get a lot of other stuff in there as well. Let's have a look. I'm just going to drop my link. There we go. I need to change my profile picture on, I need to change my profile picture on freaking, what am I do? Edit. Let me just grab one of my profile pictures. Because I like this one on Facebook that I put up, which, to me, I've got one boxing glove and stuff like that, and I just like that pic in general. It's always been a good pic for me. I don't know, like I said. I will say most of the abuse that I ever have endured has been at the hand of women who are ex-scammers. Like, they're scammers and they were exes, right? And I spent a long time with them. And the truth is, I got to know them, I actually know them, what they look like, everything else. I mean, to be honest, there's a lot more details I have on them too. But, you know, the other side of it too is, I think I've concluded with some of them that, I mean, I figured in my own mind some of them are just not worth my time and my trouble. You know, like, in the long run, I know what type of people they are. And the truth is, they probably spark up just as much shit as I could spark up, to be honest. So, knowing what they are, knowing who they are, it's a conclusion that I've come to that sometimes it's not ultimately worth going through that rigmarole and shit. Because the truth is, that person caused me a lot of issues. She fucked with a lot of other friends that I was with. And the truth is, even those friends weren't that reliable to begin with. They had their own issues anyway. The truth is, I think most of the friends that I came across... most of the friends that I had on, for example, certain stuff and everything else. Let's see. Most of the friends that I had on earlier stuff and things that I did, I found from personal experience that what ended up happening is because I sided with this American scam artist, and I don't know, as I said, she was a drug dealer too. Not just that, she was generally, I think she was, there's a lot of stuff she was doing behind the background that obviously was pretty fucked to start with. So, you know, at the end of it, I think she was the type of person she would cause shit for anyone. She's just that type of person. And the truth is, that's the reason most of the time she'd posted on her Facebook, she always felt guilty, and she'd always say she was a good woman, when the truth is she wasn't really a good woman to start with. She'd cause shit for a lot of people, and she'd start a lot of issues with people. And that's the ultimate truth. I mean, that's the truth of the entire situation. She was just that type of woman, she would do it. And you know what? I mean, adamant to say it and the truth to say it, you know, yeah, that's just how that's just where my mind went with it, you know. Well, not just that, you know, as I said, it was fucking stupid. Like, sake. Why is that picture not changing? It's probably going to change the fucking mirror. It doesn't change the fucking mirror, I'm going to have to edit it again. Cunts. Ugh. Asshole. I don't know. Sometimes it shits me and shits me. People shit me. People generally shit me because they're assholes. I don't know. I've been accused of being an asshole. I've been accused of being a psycho. You know what? Maybe I fucking am, but I'm a good fucking psycho. And people can say, no, there's no such thing as a good psycho. No, that's not entirely true. What I mean by psycho is, if somebody's going to fuck with me, say for example my financial side of myself, I don't mind laying into them for that. I think that's not psychotic to do that. Secondly, if somebody's going to fuck with, say for example, my life and my family and how I feel about my family, and they're going to try to turn me against my family emotionally and psychologically, that shit I fucking take seriously. Because I know my family is actually much less against me than those fucking assholes to start with. It's just some people I've concluded that are they're more inclined to being on my side than anybody else's side, and I know my family has always been that way. They're more on my side than they are on you know, for example, some fucking random ass fucking scammer and another stupid mate from SA. She had issues though. I mean, she had body deformity issues, but she also had some stuff aside from that. She had a lot of other issues. She had psychological issues, which she was not willing to admit. And, you know, she'd always tell me, she'd pretty much be the one trying to tell me to stop my meds. She'd be the one trying to tell me to do all this and that, you know. And the fucking truth is, it kind of got me, like, she's willing to do that, but she had epilepsy as well. So, you know, I mean, just because somebody has epilepsy doesn't necessarily... look, don't get me wrong, I believe epilepsy is a real thing, but the other side of it too is she was just the type of woman who she'd stir shit. She even did it with her own boyfriend, you know? And adamantly speaking, she was just one of these people that would fucking do this shit, and she wouldn't stop doing it. That's the thing, you know? She would have the biggest issue with it, you know? And, like I said, her issue clearly. And I guess at the end of it, you know, I don't know, she'd pass it on to other people, you know? She'd pass it on to other people. She wouldn't feel the need to not pass on to other people. She'd feel like she'd have to make drama in every single internet situation. Now, she was on IV chat a lot, and that used to happen a lot, you know, with her fucking with people. And the truth is, I used to hear all this bad shit about her. I always used to tell people, nah, she's a good person, I used to always fucking praise her up and make her seem like the good guy, and always say, you know, that's just Kylie, that's who she is, you know. I'd make her seem like the good guy. You know what? Fuck it. I am refusing to do that anymore because she was clearly the bad guy to begin with. She clearly had fucking issues. I've tried to reconnect with her. I've tried to reconnect with her. But the obvious fact is, I don't think she wants to reconnect. That's the truth. The other side of it too is, I have found a few other friends and new people that I've met and I've come across. And, you know, to be honest, most of those people I get along with pretty adamantly. You know? So, okay. Fuck off. Cunt. Close. Thank you, you bitch. Oh, there we go. fucking annoys me. I'm sorry, this fucking computer's lagging the shit out of it at the moment. It's fucking annoying the shit out of me. It's kind of a fucking annoying because I can't fucking fix it until I get the fucking new drive, which I'm fucking waiting for, which I'm fucking being a bit patient in for. Fucking being impatient for. Maybe, you know, like, I've been such a patient cunt my entire life. I've been saying, you know, oh fuck, you know, I'm gonna be the most patient person on the planet. The truth is, I'm sick of being fucking patient. I'm sick of waiting for things, not getting what I expect out of something, not getting what I expect out of people. That's the other thing too. But then the truth is, you know, fucking sometimes people will let you down. That's the truth. They will. They will let you down. And I don't think it's everybody who lets you down, but it's just some people that they'll let you down regardless. It doesn't matter who it is. I don't know. I've been accused of wanting things too perfect. Maybe that's the case. I don't know. That's distinctly possible. Maybe I want things to be just right. Maybe sometimes I wish things could be a lot more right because my entire life I've gone, okay, hold on a second, that could be much better. And I know that there's certain things that could be done better. And I could do them myself. And I have done them myself. I've proven my point. Turned around and showed the person how I'd do it. It's actually ended up being better. And they've got the shits with me because I've done it better than them. That's entirely my fucking point. This is my point. But people will get the shits and get jealous if you can end up doing something better than they can. That's the honest truth. I don't know what it is about. I don't know what it is about some people and their attitude towards that type of stuff, but they're just, you know, well, it's like, but you did it better than me. You fucking chore me. You're a fucking immature little fucking 4-year-old child. It's exactly like fucking Carly and a few other. There's a couple of women I know, like, not all women, but some women who act like fucking 4-year-old children. Well, that's pretty much what Carly is in her entirety. She's a 4-year-old. She's a 44-year-old, emphasize 4-year-old. I think she's probably about that old now. 44-year-old child. That's what she is. She's a 44-year-old child. And you know what? Fuck her. Fuck her, fuck her shit. I don't fucking care. She can go fucking suck a dick. Which she probably does, because she's a big slut to start with. Just saying. Yeah, okay, I'm getting into the crude stuff here, but you know what? It's the truth. Yeah, I'm noting a consistency between some women who are good and some women who aren't. There's some women that are so slutty that they'll suck any cock for anything. They'll suck a fucking cock for an iPhone. I'm like, yeah, okay. You're probably riddled full of fucking STDs and you're the biggest fucking whore in the town bike, pretty much, you know? And I will be honest, there's some women that are like that. As a person who doesn't go around fucking everybody myself, at the end of it, you know, and put a personal preference point and seeing people saying, oh no, but, you know, could you get anybody if you try? Well, no, this is my point. I don't have a problem getting people. I don't have a problem getting with people. It's not as if I can't actually go and get what I want. It's a personal preference point of me wanting to go out there and catch every possible STD on the planet. Firstly, I'm smart enough to not want to catch every single STD on the planet because, you know, it's pretty much going to fuck up your immune system to start with. Firstly, you've got sexually transmitted diseases are a commonality. There's herpes, there's fucking AIDS, there's a bunch of other ones. There's a bunch of other ones that probably haven't been categorized and tagged yet. And the truth of the situation is, you know, there's nothing wrong with having a one-night stand, don't get me wrong, but, like, when you're doing it every fucking second night, or every fucking night, and you're having a one-night stand with someone, what does that truly say about you as a person? Okay, I get that you like the orgasm. Okay, that's fine. You know, maybe you like the experience of sex, maybe it's the feeling, maybe it's not just that, but it's just feeling that way that makes you feel, you know, another thing is it can make you feel better about yourself. That's why, too, is some people like degrading sex, too. So, I mean, look, everybody's different, but my point is, if you're going out slutting yourself around and having sex with somebody every single damn night, how is that, I don't know, how is that not being a slutty individual? I don't care whether you're fucking male or female, you can be both. This is my point. How are you okay, firstly, whether you're male or female, I don't care who you are, you're either a fuckboy You're either a fuckboy or a fucking slut. So this is my point. It's either context. And this is what I'm seeing so far from not just different groups that I've examined on the internet, but other things that I've seen in real life, you know? And that's the point. You're a fuckboy or you're a slut. And it rounds down to that. And you know what? I don't think all women are sluts. I think there's some decent women out there who will only put out, you know, or have sex with someone, you know, based on their personality, based on other things, you know. And then there's some people it's the opposite, you know. It's like, you know, pretty much. I don't know. What I do find with these people is that it surprises me with some of these people who've had multiple sexual partners is the fact that, you know, that not just that, but they don't just have multiple sexual partners, but they have multiple children to different women, right? I'm like, fuck, man, seriously. Firstly, are you dumb enough to actually... Firstly, do you know how much fucking money that you're going to owe in child support for each child? That's the first thing you're going to work out. Like, calculate that in your head, right? That's the first part of it. That's the first fucking part, right? Yeah, that's me, dude. Subscribed. Oh, okay, cool. Oh, cool. Cool, thank you, my man. John's wallet. Cool, man. Thank you. Always good to have some new subscribers. Okay. Fair enough. Let's see. Hit this button. Alright. I can't hear what's going on. Oh, okay, that's right, I muted it. Oh no, that's right, I will watch that though. Subscribe. In all fairness.
2. Charlie is a male and he's approximately 11 years old.
Nice. Oh no, I will watch that. Can't do it right now, but I will definitely watch that. So thank you for that. What's up, my good man? I love cockatoos, by the way. Did I just type? Where did I type that? Oh, whoops. Ah! Wow, okay. I've been slightly drunk. Well, no, I'm not completely. This is my point. I've like had 1 or 2 glasses of wine. So, I mean, that's probably all I'm going to have now, but... I love cockatoos. I love watching videos involving birds because I'm a parrot man myself. I have a parrot myself, so... Subbed, my good man. Subbed indeed. And you can probably even see now that I've subbed right here. This is probably not... I mean, this is probably... Well, general video evidence or anything of that nature anyway. He showed me a screenshot. But I've done... I'm streaming right now, so I can show it anyway. I've always been that type of person. I sub for a sub, you know, like that's just who I am. You sub to me, I sub to you, sort of thing, you know. On top of that, as I said, I do check out the videos for different people, so. All good, man. All good. Not a problem. But yeah, no, like, I mean, as I said, different circumstances, I guess, but I don't know. I'm setting so much up. I'm setting a lot up these days. I've got this TubeBuddy, which has been fantastic for my channel so far. I mean, I've had negative and positive experiences of different things, but TubeBuddy's really... Actually, I'm actually even thinking of buying a membership for it, to be honest, to add to some of the features and stuff at this point. So TubeBuddy seems to be giving some benefits to my channel anyway, so far from the experience I've had. Okay. It's weird though. Oh no, that just showed up. Okay. Because I've had that a couple of times when somebody subbed to me, and the weird part about it is when they've subbed to me, it hasn't showed up straight away, or it's taken us a fair while to show up. Which is kind of annoying, but oh well, you know, shit happens, unfortunately. I don't know much about it, though. It's cool. I love cockatoos. They are marvellous birds. They are marvellous birds. I love dogs, too. See, I don't know, I'm a favourite guy. I love dogs, I love birds, I love dogs. Cats are my favourite, but I mean, I can take them or leave them. I'm probably more of a dog person than a cat person. But I can either go with that, or I can go with, what's the other thing I can go with? Birds. Mouses, well, I had a mouse in my hand today, and I don't mind mice. They're fine, mice are fine by me. Yeah, so, you know, yeah. Rabbits are okay, too. I had a rabbit. I used to have a rabbit when I was young. So. Oh, son of a bitch. Here's the context. I'm going crazy, that's the problem. But yeah, I don't know, just as a point of reference, but I don't know, I might rest for a little bit myself. I mean, I'm just doing this last glass of wine, and then I might just maybe sleep for a little bit longer, and then I'll probably answer that text for that person in the morning. Still got to answer that text, to be honest, at this point. They just want to know how much it's going to cost to reset the password. I'm like, okay, shouldn't cost that much. I don't see it being that much anyway. My phone has a feature update. Maybe it'll fix some of my shit that's not working properly. Alright, so I'm going to be getting that new SSD. When I do get that new SSD, I'm going to give a bit of a review on it, as well as giving a review. Yes, I will. We'll give it a bit of a review. I will show you some of the performance tests and everything else, and some of the stuff on it anyway. Alright, thank you very much. Stay tuned, and I will be doing some more stuff later on. So please, feel free to stay tuned.